Hello Pokemon trainers! Welcome back to another Pokemon Sun and Moon Battle Spot singles video on iStarly TV. This is something I haven't done in a while, but I've been wanting to do it and I haven't really played Battle Spot in a little while. And since these new Mega Stones came out recently, I actually started playing again, and I started breeding again and just playing with cool Pokemon that I like. So, as you can see, today's video is going to be showcasing a little bit of Mega Blaziken. I have two games that I thought were great. These are post-commentary games, which means that, you know, I played the games on my own time, and then I saved them, and now I'm going to be narrating them. So hopefully you enjoy. If you do enjoy this type of content, please leave a like, and in the comments below, let me know which Pokemon you'd like to see. So before we jump into the narration of the battles, let's actually take a look at my team. My team is right there on the bottom screen where it says Team 2. This is the team I used with the Mega Blaziken. My goal here was to showcase Mega Blaziken, and it's actually a special Mega Blaziken. As you can tell, it has a naughty nature, and it has Hidden Power Ice. So I bred it specifically with Hidden Power Ice, and my purpose there, my reasoning there was kind of to catch like Garchomp and Landorus off guard. And you also have great, excellent coverage in Flare Blitz and High Jump Kick. Mega Blaziken actually has a really high special attack stat, which makes Hidden Power Ice even better. And then to complement that, I added in Choice Specs Tapu Koko. He hits really hard, and it can kind of deal with some Pokemon. It kind of has decent offensive synergy with Mega Blaziken, so it can kind of deal with some Pokemon that maybe Mega Blaziken has some trouble with. And then I have a pretty typical Focus Sash Mamoswine with Stealth Rock. I have a bulky Zapdos with Rocky Helmet, which I found to be just excellent. Zapdos and Blaziken actually have very good synergy together. They can both kind of handle one another's weaknesses really well. If you think about it, Zapdos has trouble against other bulky Pokemon, like other Steel types. And of course, Mega Blaziken can very easily deal with those Steel types. Blaziken, on the other hand, has trouble with some other kind of walling Pokemon such as like Cresselia, and my Zapdos has Toxic to deal with that. And then to round out the team, I have a Choice Scarf Tapu Lele, who is just an all-star, always good, you know, scarcely ever bad. And then I have a Calm Minding Tapu Fini, and the purpose with Tapu Fini is just to kind of, you know, stall out some Pokemon, and I do have Hidden Power Fire on it, I think, which can help. Anyways, in these games, you'll see that, obviously I'm only choosing 3 Pokemon, so let's just get right into it. So my opponent brought... Sorry. Let's just get right into it. I'm getting a little bit ahead of myself. So my opponent here in these games brought Magnezone as a lead. I led with my Mamoswine because I felt like it kind of had a good lead against, a good matchup against most of my opponent's Pokemon. And since I have Focus Sash, even against the Pokemon that would give me trouble, I could kind of live a hit and, you know, take the damage or whatever the case might be. I actually don't need to show the bottom screen there anyways. So I go for the Earthquake turn 1, knowing that I'm very likely faster. I had a feeling my opponent would be sturdy, and they actually are, so that's kind of awkward for me. But here, instead of going for the Ice Shard to kill the Magnezone, I actually just go for the Stealth Rock, kind of thinking that they might switch into something really good, but also feeling like, well, this is probably my Mamoswine's last turn alive, so I might as well get at the Stealth Rocks to give my opponent's team a harder time later on down the road. And my opponent actually switches into Charizard, which is actually kind of bad for me, because I wanted Charizard to switch in when I had Stealth Rocks alive, and now Stealth Rocks are on the table, but are on the battlefield, but Charizard's already in, so it's not going to take all that damage. And then the worst way that my opponent can kill me is with Flame Charge, and I was expecting it. I was like, if they kill me with Flame Charge, I'm in a really bad spot because now they're going to be faster than my entire team. And of course, that's what they do. I still don't know if this is Charizard X or Charizard Y, but what I decide to do here is, of course, I decide to Mega Evolve. The sooner you Mega Evolve with Mega Blaziken, the better. There's really no reason to not Mega Evolve with Blaziken. And what I did here was I actually went for the High Jump Kick, thinking I can probably live a hit for my opponent unless they're Charizard Y with Air Slash. And even then, maybe. So I thought I could live a hit and then go for the High Jump Kick, kind of catch my opponent off guard. And that works out perfectly because my opponent actually expected me to go for Protect, which is what Blaziken normally does. And so I get a lot of damage on them. And then this turn I actually go for the Protect. And the reason I do this is because right now we're both at +1 speed. But since I'm not a Jolly nature, I am slower than my opponent. So my opponent is faster, which means that once I go for Protect, I will get another speed boost, and I will therefore be faster than their Charizard. So that works out really well for me. I was really proud of that play. Here I make kind of an interesting play. I actually go for the Hidden Power Ice, just because Flare Blitz is 4 times resisted by Charizard, so I thought there was a chance that they could survive it if I went for it. And then High Jump Kick, of course, has a chance to miss, so I didn't want to take any chances there. I just decided to go for the Hidden Power Ice, and it actually killed it, so I was really scared there. But now my opponent goes into Magnezone, who immediately dies to the Stealth Rock, so that's another great showcase of how Stealth Rock really helps in these situations. Finally, my opponent goes into Mamoswine, and here I should have just gone for Flare Blitz. I went for High Jump Kick thinking that Flare Blitz wouldn't do a lot because Mamoswine has Thick Fat. Of course, I missed the High Jump Kick and my opponent's able to kill me with Earthquake. I should have still gone for Flare Blitz just to be safe, even if I didn't kill their Mamoswine, which I probably would have, to be honest. But even if for some reason I didn't, I could just go into Tapu Lele and finish them off with Psychic because they would be at very low health. But it ends up working out for me because despite the fact that I missed the High Jump Kick, I am still able to go into Tapu Lele and go for the Psychic, and that, luckily for me, spoiler alert, is going to be enough to take out Mamoswine. Tapu Lele is just so powerful, and so is Blaziken, so I felt like this game really showcased Blaziken's power, Mega Blaziken's power, and if you want to spend some extra time breeding a Blaziken for Hidden Power Ice, I would say it's worth it, and it's worth kind of catching your opponent off guard. I actually bred another Blaziken that is a naive nature, and it's actually more specially inclined, more specially invested, so it has like Overheat and High Jump Kick, and I think Hidden Power Ice as well. So that one's more of a special attacker. This one's a mixed physical attacker. So hopefully you enjoyed that game. I think I made a great play there. Let's move on to the second game. So in game number 2, my opponent has a very interesting and very powerful team as well. It's always the case when I see my opponent's team. They always have like a lot of Pokemon that are weak to one of my Pokemon, but then they have one Pokemon that just really stops me dead in my tracks. And in this case, if you look at their team, you know, Zapdos does really well against Gyarados and even against Escavalier, but if assuming Marowak has Lightning Rod, it just stops it cold, so because it can resist Heat Wave, and it can hit, or it can absorb Thunderbolt with Lightning Rod. Anyways, I have Toxic on this Zapdos, and that's going to prove to be really important in this matchup. And because this is the Blaziken showcase, of course, I also have Blaziken in this matchup as well. So let's take a look. So that's a really awkward pose, by the way, even though I think that's the pose that my character has, but I think it's interesting. My opponent does lead with their, what's it called, Marowak, which is actually great for me because I happen to lead with my Mamoswine, which means I'm gonna be able to outspeed them and kill them with the Earthquake. However, of course, I know there's a very good chance that they're not gonna lose their Marowak turn 1 because Marowak's a very unique Pokemon, a very useful Pokemon against Zapdos and Blaziken. So I predict their switch and go for the Stealth Rock. Once again, Stealth Rock is going to be very important in this battle because they had Gyarados on their team and they had Marowak, so I felt like if they're going to be switching a lot, I might as well get those hazards on the table. And then here I just make a great switch into Zapdos. There was really nothing better I could do here because both Mamoswine and Blaziken are weak to Gyarados' water moves, obviously, so I thought that going to Zapdos and probably taking a hit, even if they go for Dragon Dance, I am physically defensive, so I felt like I could possibly live a +1 hit. They do get a critical hit though, which is just terrible for me. I do get the Rocky Helmet damage, and now I'm just going to threaten them out with Thunderbolt, so again, expecting them to switch, I just decide to go for the Roost, and this is just working out so well for me, just being able to kind of predict my opponent and kind of make the assessment. I also figured even if they don't switch out and they attack me again with Gyarados, there's a small chance I live given that the first hit was a critical hit, and I could just recover off all the damage and just keep spamming Roost until they weaken themselves with Rocky Helmet so that I can finish them off with Thunderbolt. Here, because they went into Marowak, obviously I don't want to go for Heat Wave or Thunderbolt for the aforementioned reasons, so I just opt to go for the Toxic because I know that that's going to wear it down, and that's really going to help me in the long run. And once again, I think here I just go for Roost again. I know Zapdos can be really annoying, but I've had a lot of success with Zapdos. I'm really loving it. It can be really bulky, it has a great new ability in Static, and it can take a lot of hits from a lot of different things, and with Toxic it kind of rounds out the kind of coverage that it needs. Here my opponent's going to go for the Flare Blitz and take me out. I felt like that was fine if they did that, because now that Marowak is poisoned and it's weakened and it's taking damage from the Rocky Helmet, it's taking damage from the poison, it's taking damage from the Flare Blitz recoil, it just has so many things stacking up against it that I felt like I could go into Blaziken, I could Mega Evolve and go for the Protect, so that I can stall out another turn and get even more poison damage, and that would work out in my favor. This is where it shows that it was maybe, or arguably not the best play for my opponent to Mega Evolve so early, because if they had regular Gyarados there, not Mega, they could have intimidated my Blaziken, which would have been, you know, just a huge downside for me. But since they're Mega Gyarados, I'm able to just kind of freely Mega Evolve, go for the Protect, and I get the speed boost, and now I'm obviously threatening them with the high jump kick. And I kind of made a weird play here. I was like, I forgot about Marowak kind of, because I was multitasking. It ends up not mattering though, because of the fact that, of course, Stealth Rocks are up. So Stealth Rocks really saved me from making a very stupid play there. Because if Stealth Rocks were not up, then I would have crashed there, taken a lot of damage. Now my opponent goes into a Scavalier, and I think at this point my opponent realizes that there's not much they can do. Mega Blaziken can just plow through the rest of their team. I could just spam High Jump Kick or spam Flare Blitz or whatever, and I still had Mamoswine left, so my opponent does concede. And that game looked like it was going in my favor. I think there's an argument for my opponent just playing it out and seeing what happens, but I just had a lot of fun with Mega Blaziken. I'm definitely excited to try more games with it. I think Mega Blaziken has a lot of potential in Battle Spot singles. Mega Sceptile also, I think, has some interesting potential. I don't know if it has a lot of potential, but I think it's worth trying. And then Mega Swampert is very niche. It really is at its best on rain teams. If you're not using a rain team, it's really not worth using, unfortunately. But I will be trying out all of these, and I still need to try out like Heracross and Houndoom. So be on the lookout for more Battle Spot single videos. Like I said, I will be having more free time because I'm on summer break now, even though I'll be teaching in the summer as well. But I'll still have time. I still have time to do some more battles, and Dieter and I will be playing more games. We actually have a few videos that we recorded just kind of playing some fun games. We'll be bringing back the Name Raiders as well. If you enjoy all that, please subscribe. If you would like to see more content like this, also please subscribe, please leave a like. We really hope you enjoyed, and I had a lot of fun with this, so hopefully you did too.